The beds were made. The food was still on the table. The TV was still on. The dog was still in the yard. But the family was completely gone. No note. No phone call. No warning. 4 people vanished overnight, without a single trace. And when investigators finally uncovered the truth, they wished they hadn't. This is one of the most disturbing true crime cases in American history, and every single detail of it is completely true. Springville, Utah, 2018. The Clough family was everything a family should be. Chad Clough, hard-working father, devoted husband, coached his kids' sports teams, known by everyone in the neighborhood. His wife, loving mother, active in the community, always smiling, always waving hello. 4 children, a beautiful home, a life that looked perfect from the outside. But behind closed doors, something was deeply wrong. Financial pressure had been building. 4 months. Debts they couldn't pay. Bills that kept coming. A life that was slowly falling apart. While they smiled and pretended everything was fine. It was a Tuesday night. Neighbors saw lights on in the house, heard normal sounds, saw nothing unusual. By Wednesday morning, everything had changed. A neighbor noticed the car was gone. The curtains hadn't moved. The mail was untouched. She knocked on the door. No answer. She called their phones. No answer. She called police. When officers arrived and entered the home, what they found stopped them cold. Everything was in perfect order. Dishes in the sink, clothes in the closets, children's toys on the floor, family photos on the walls, but not a single person inside. The family had vanished, as if they had simply ceased to exist. Police launched an immediate missing persons investigation. They checked hospitals. They checked relatives. They checked friends. Nobody had heard from them. Nobody knew where they went. Nobody had any explanation. Investigators pulled their financial records. What they found painted a devastating picture. The family was months behind on their mortgage. Credit cards maxed out. Loans they couldn't repay. They were about to lose everything. But that still didn't explain where 4 people could go overnight, with no warning to anyone. Then investigators got a lead. A gas station camera, 60 miles outside of town, captured their car at 3 a.m. The whole family inside, driving in silence, heading toward the desert. What investigators uncovered next broke everyone who heard it. Chad Clough had made a decision. Faced with financial ruin, faced with losing his home, faced with what he believed was total failure, he had decided his family would simply disappear. Not die, not harm themselves, but vanish completely. Start over somewhere new. New names. New city. New life. He had been planning it. 4 weeks. He had withdrawn cash slowly. Over months. He had researched remote locations. He had packed quietly while his children slept. And in the middle of the night, he had woken his family and driven away. Without telling a single person. Without saying goodbye. Without leaving a note. Police tracked the family to a remote area of Nevada. They were found alive, living in their car, with limited food and water. The children were confused, scared. They didn't fully understand what was happening. Chad Clough was taken into custody. He was charged with child endangerment. His wife, who had gone along with the plan, was also questioned extensively. The children were taken into temporary care while the case was investigated. A family that had looked perfect from the outside had completely collapsed from within. The case raised devastating questions that still don't have easy answers. How many families across America are silently drowning while smiling at their neighbors? How many people are one financial crisis away from making a desperate decision? How many children are caught in the middle of their parents' breaking point, with no voice, no choice, no way out? The Clough children didn't choose to vanish that night. They were taken by the people who were supposed to protect them most. The family was found alive. That is the only good part of this story. But the damage done to those children, to that family, to that community, cannot be undone with a court case. Because the real crime here wasn't just disappearing. It was the silent suffering that happened long before that Tuesday night. The smiling faces, the perfect house, the waving hello to neighbors, while everything inside was falling apart. This case is a reminder that the people who look the most put together are sometimes the ones who are closest to the edge. If this story hit close to home, if it made you think, subscribe to Crime Crypt right now. Every week we go deeper into the cases that reveal the darkest truths about the world around us. Real stories, real families, real pain. Subscribe to Crime Crypt. Hit that bell, because next week we have a case that will genuinely keep you up at night. Skull Crime Crypt, where dark secrets come to light.